Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Series A, Dhamma Talk number 20. We were talking about the supported factors which promotes the progress of the Vipassana meditation. There are altogether 7 supported factors given in the scripture. The first one is suitable accommodation. Okay. And the second one is suitable alms resort. And today the third one, suitable conversation. So when you are meditating with a group of people, okay, there are various settings, of course. Some are at the retreat center. Over there, they are quite provide every requisites. You don't have to do anything, worry anything, and also make sure that you are following the instructions and rules set out by the center. So in the centers, they enforced noble silence. It is not that you must not speak at all. For urgency and emergency purpose, you can speak. Other than that, you don't speak at all. And also, whether every day or every other day or once and every 3 days, depending on the schedule of the center, the yogi have an interview with the meditation teacher. At that time, there's a dialogue going on. That's about the extent of the speech or conversation yogis have. So if you can keep a noble silence, of course, that's the best. But there are other places you go and meditate in a forest with a group of people or a few friends. When you meditate at your own little spot you choose. And then occasionally, okay, at lunch times or full moon days or half full moon days, they gather. And then when they gather, there are some speech occurs or conversation happen. And these kind of retreats are in general about 3 months rain retreats in the olden days. And even nowadays for the monks at that 3 months, they're encouraged to meditate for that 3 months period. And of course, there are still some yogis who meditate for, we hear, 6 months retreat, 1 month retreat, some say 3 years retreat or 7 years retreat, and so on and so forth. Depending on whatever method you're following, whatever rules set out by the meditation teacher, you have these things. When you have these long periods, there's a need to speech arises. And when this conversation occurred, was set out here, best is not to speak at all, but if you have to speak, there are 10 types of speech that are allowable to the people who are in that kind of a practice. If you can't or don't speak at all, the best. If you have to, one should follow within the 10 types or the guidelines of 10 types of speech. Only speak those within that category. And my teacher mentioned about meditation, most specifically towards the one that we are practicing, Satipatthana, Vipassana. For them, my teacher told me, for us, this type of meditation, if you want to really practice as instructed, okay, with full weight, full force effort, follow the instruction to a T. The full effectiveness is 3 months. After 3 months, you cannot maintain that kind of quality, drop down. Okay? But there are people still go speak about 6 months or a year. But if you actually go to the center and watch them, those people, okay, they become a bit laxed. After a while it laxed. You cannot physically maintain the discipline of that deep, penetrative, close, no gap, no space, continuous, constant observation, more than 3 months. You can, but not as effective and as efficient. That's what I've been told. So in here, this category of factor is about 10 suitable conversation that a yogi in meditation are allowed to speak. The first one is fewer wishes or fewer wants. And here one need to understand these wishes or wants or desires are. Because as soon as you say wishes, wants and desire, it's a big spectrum of things, so it could never end. For meditation practitioner, the fewer of wants or wishes is about the subject of wanting to attain or attainment. Basically, path and fruition. Okay, there are 4 types of path. Mega, okay, and 4 types of fruition. Phala, and then Nibbana. Those 9. 4 Mega, 4 Phala, and 1 Nibbana. 9. These 9 are called or defined as Lokuttara Dhamma. Okay? They are not Lokiya, not the mundane. These are ultra mundane, Lokuttara Dhamma. It's about 4 path, 4 fruition, and Nibbana. And when you are practicing now, assumption is people are quite serious practicing and then have reached to that domain. Okay? When you reach to that domain, and some people, quite a lot of people, especially at the beginning, can't contain it. Okay? They talk about, okay, oh, what kind of experience he or she has, okay, this part, okay, whether Satipatthana Mega or Sagadagami Mega or Anagami Mega or Arahata Mega. They talk about it. And then also Phala fruition, they talk about it, and even cessation of mind and matter. which is, in other words, Nibbana. They talk about it. And they talk about in such a way, I want it, I wish it, okay, having a desire for it. And then also talking in a way that, okay, I have reached it. It has a sense of ego, a sense of accomplishment, wanting to have a little bit of a boastfulness or wanting some praise. That kind of mental state associated with it. And also to be able to reach these kind of 9 Lokuttara Dhamma, ultra-mundane Dhamma, you have to go through a series of insights, jnana. Okay, we all know there are 13 of them. And about these jnana to when you are, oh, I am here, I am there, I experience this way, I experience that way. It could be 2 types. One type is one hasn't experienced yet. From what they read and what they heard, they talk as if they have. That's one type. Another type is they experience already, but they talk with the attitude of wanting to be cognized, okay? Wanting to get praised. I am, that kind of attitude. So with that kind of attitude, you talk about these things. So whichever way it is, when you talk about these things, these are, okay, not appropriate things to talk. And when you talk about these things, okay, when these kind of subjects come in, one may talk about it in a group, or a few may talk about it. In such a case, the co-meditators, other yogis, who are more mindful of it, skillfully and diplomatically, without offending, channel the conversation into the fewer wishes or fewer wants. In other words, saying them, that's not the way to talk. That's what it means by fewer wishes or fewer wants. One must channel or discuss or talk about these topics and from the viewpoint of not to talk much, not to boast, not to praise, not to have a false presentation. That is the direction. There's always someone who does that, and in that way one has to come in and talk that kind of the topic of we all should have a fewer wishes and fewer wants. It's a set of mindful, give a little attention to the people who are not, and then streamline the whole group into the proper direction. So that's what it means by fewer wants or fewer wishes. That kind of conversation should be carried out. And another one is contentment. Okay, contentment. Fewer wishes is about the attainments. And this contentment is more of the environment. Okay? Because once we are meditating, we are already in a setting. Okay? We have chosen and we have plunged ourselves into that environment or the setting. In that setting, okay, we may have food, and whatever that environment provides, you have that food. And when you have that food, one must be content with the food that you have. It may be something that you like, and if you like, don't partake with greed or with glee. And it may be something you don't like, and when you don't like to, don't partake with aversion or dissatisfaction. That's what it means by content with what you have, because you are already in a setting. Okay? You cannot go out and do and change. If you change, then you are not in the meditation mode at all. So in terms of food, to speak it very modern day language, room and board. Be content with whatever room and board you have, whatever bedding you have, whatever pillows you have, whatever type of sleeping place or shower place, and so on and so forth. Be content with it. So in here too, when the conversation come in, there are all sort of people when you are meditating group. Some people say, oh, I don't know how they are cooking the food. Oh, I don't know how they are distributing it. Some got good food, some got bad food. Or they say, oh, earlier people picks all the good pieces of meat, later part only have bones. That kind of thing. And always conversation like that pops up. Okay? And when this conversation pops up, that means you are not content. Okay? You are dissatisfied. And in a group, if you're among them, first of all, you have to make sure you don't discuss or express about the discontent, what's not good enough, or not hygienic enough. Even though that is correct, hygienic is good, not hygienic enough. Not as a gossiping or complaint or expressions of dissatisfaction. But you may go right to the person or the monk or the manager and say, hey, I believe you should have more care in this dishwashing places. That is a conversation, constructive conversation, not expressing out of dissatisfaction to improve the situation. That is what is necessary. You may talk things like that. And other people are talking discontent, and you may come in and you may draw their awareness to be content with what we have. Those kind of conversations are permitted. That is the second type, contentment. And the third one is called solitude. Solitude is, there are always people, okay, whether in a setting, retreat setting, or even outside retreat setting. Some people enjoy the solitude, some people not. From outside is very simple. What does it mean by that solitude is? You're always looking forward for company, okay? Friends to come and visit. You go and visit friends, relatives, children, grandparents, coming to visit, going to visit, and you enjoyed it, you long for it, you look forward to it. Okay? And these kind of company, wanting to have companies, wanting to create environment with lots of people and enjoying it. And those are the people who does not like solitude, okay? Who could not enjoy solitude. Solitude means you don't really enjoy lots of people coming to you and then talking and entertaining and cooking and arranging and so on. Okay? You began to have like a boredom towards all these things. And you enjoy being alone. It's called being alone. You don't feel lonely even though you are alone. That's what it is. Enjoy being alone. That is, depending on the company, that's what solitude means. And even in the settings, meditation retreat settings, there's always yogis who are looking, okay, to talk. Okay. When the teacher's not around, things like that, they try to create opportunity to talk. Oh, okay, it's going to that bathroom around there that you can't avoid it. You go there and for some reason, purposely or accidentally meet people and then always create a situation to talk. Try to get a company. That kind of a thing. Or even purposely, whenever nobody see around the bend, around the corner, behind the bushes or trees, you walk over there because you know that there's somebody. And then within that 30 minutes or an hour, there might be a one conversation or two conversation because it is desperate for company. And number one is for you not to enjoy company. Number two is, if you happen to have these kind of people, okay, to avoid and give them that situation or condition. And even if appropriate in a group setting, okay, one should talk about the praise and the beauty and the virtue of being solitude. That is how you draw attention. That kind of conversations are permitted. That is the number 3 conversation. And number 4 conversation is somewhat overlap. In a way it is overlap, but in a way it's different. It's called quietude, totally quiet. Not only solitude, okay? Whether you are group or whether you are alone, just to be in quiet. Enjoy the quiet environment. And even with a group of people, totally in a quiet and silent zone. Above all, quiet, alone. That's even more important. To be quiet alone, which means you are not doing mental chattering. When you are doing mental chattering, it is really loud and noisy. Of course, you don't know. And nobody knows, so you think you can chat as loud as you can in your mind. That's not being quiet. You might be silent outwardly, but you are not quiet inside your mind. So these kind of things to promote and to praise, to be quiet, that kind of conversation is encouraged whenever appropriate. You don't just go there purposely to talk about it, to give lectures to others. Only when situation calls for it and appropriate, and if it is the right time and the right place, then you may have a conversation on that topic. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, being quiet. And the 5th one is, this is something that you can't miss anywhere in Buddha's teaching, diligence. It is the repeated diligence that's also a very supported factors for your progress. Okay, this diligence or effort you find everywhere. But also in here, as a supported factor, the Buddhists put it there as well. But in here, presentation is divided into 2 categories. Kayika viriya, in other words, physical effort or physical diligence. And cetasika, okay, viriya, see, mental effort or mental diligence. 2 things. This has to be done, the word there is repeatedly, bahuli, repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. And that word is also very, very important word for a Buddhist. Practice repeatedly, 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 everything repeatedly. With what? With great diligence. So what is kayika viriya? Kayika viriya is Let's say you were sitting. Okay? When you're sitting, you took a posture. The way you sit, back straight, neck straight, okay, and slightly open so that you are not bending, scooping, swooping down, and so on. And you don't move, you don't twitch, you don't scratch, you don't play around with your hands, you don't twiddle your thumb underneath. Physically, totally in good posture. And one must maintain that posture. It's a physical body maintenance. That is the effort, kayika, physical effort. And also in the walking meditation, you walk properly without tipping over or swaying, grinding. And also you have to balance yourself based on your effort. You might be very strong and young and healthy. You're balanced. You don't need too much effort. When you get older, when you got sick, you need a lot more effort. So you cannot try to behave like as if you are 20-year-old, totally healthy. You have to adjust according to the situation of the body, what the body can provide and can do. Within that, one must adjust it. Those kind of adjustments are quite important because especially strong-minded people, even though when they get old, they don't want to give in. Oh, I can do it, I can do it. The mind still thinks, I can do it. But the body cannot follow. And that is when the falling downs and fractures and all the little incidents happen. Because you cannot walk in harmony. The capability between the body and the desire the mind wants must be graceful and know how to harmonize between the body and the mind. So that is called kayika. Okay? Kayika viriya, physical diligence that must be maintained at all times. And then the other one is cetasika, mental factors. The mind has to be strong. So what is the mind's work? The mind's work is, the most implicit form is, you're precisely aware at the present moment of the rising, of the falling, sitting, touching, lifting, pushing, thinking, anger, on the dot, on the dot, on the dot. To maintain that, okay, you are always aware of what is arising, mind or matter, at the present moment, with precision, without a gap, without a break, not taking a break, and then consistently, constantly. So when you put that kind of effort, I think that's why my teacher said, 3 months you can do it. Beyond 3 months, it's become a lot tougher. That kind of ability to be mindful at every moment, constantly, whatever is arising and passing away at the present moment, that maintenance is cetasika viriya, okay? The effort of the mind. That has to be maintained. And also, there's need to balance between the physical diligence and mental diligence effort. When the body gets really tired, okay, the mind also gets tired. And when mind gets tired, the body gets tired. There's always relationship working relationship between the mind and the body, causal relationship. And when the body becomes agitated, the mind becomes agitated. When the mind becomes agitated, the body becomes jittery. Those things are happening all the time. So that is when, let's say, you put excessive effort, real great effort. No, I have a very bad posture, I have to correct it. And then you just put so much emphasis on the body, straight, little soup, no straight, no soup, no straight, no, can't twitch, can't move. You put so much effort in that to maintain that posture. What happened was, it created agitation and irritation to the mind. And if the mind got irritated and agitated, then you cannot have the proper mindfulness. See? Because you put excessive effort to maintain the body, and then suddenly the mind becomes agitated and irritated. And also, you don't maintain that effort at all. Your effort is quite lax, and you just go down there, and slowly you become like that. What happened? You become lazy and bored and lazy and sleepy. What happened? Not enough physical effort, so the mind also go into the lazy and sloth and torpor mode. So it is quite important to have a balance between this physical effort and mental effort. And these kind of things, these kind of conversation, when you have a group together, okay, and if you consider it is necessary and needed, appropriate and suitable, you may talk about it. That's a conversation that's allowable. But in our type of meditation, you are always with the teacher. So you are talking with the teacher, and the teacher will be always talking and correcting you what to do, what not to do. So that is the repeated diligence, conversation that's allowable. Number 5. Okay. Number 6, okay, sila, or precepts or morality. Sila is the foundation of our practice. Without the proper foundation, we cannot build on it. So, sila is very important, and we all know basically it's the 5 precepts. And the importance of these 5 precepts, we don't need to expand or talk about it. And on top of that, it could be 8 precepts, 9 precepts, 10 precepts, or if you take a robe, there are 227 precepts or rules and regulations that need to follow. And if you decide to take on to any type of sila, one should put great effort to be with it, to be able to observe it, not to break it. Because when you have sila, okay, first and foremost, this is a great foundation for your practice. In other words, on top of sila, if you have a proper sila, you will have a samadhi, concentration. And on top of the samadhi, you can build piññā, because these are the 3 pillars, but 3 steps. Like a sila as a foundation, samadhi is the middle, and piññā is the crown. That's the way it's it. The 3 bases. So we are specifically talking about sila, and in here, just sila is not only just building these things up, they have a great effects. Everything has a cause and effect. Buddhism is taught through the connection or connectiveness of cause and effect. First of all, if you have a sila, you have a great ease of livelihood. great ease of livelihood. What does that mean is, whatever job that you are doing for your livelihood, of course, they are something that doesn't hurt or harm yourself as well as others. That is a given. And hurting yourself, that's very important to know. Some people don't really know. You don't think it's hurting yourself. You're making or earning a living, a job. If it is very stressful, if you are stressed out, that kind of a livelihood, I don't think one should continue on. Okay. Every day it's stress, every day stress. Not just a certain degree of stress, fine, but great stress, great stress, great stress. In other words, you're hurting and harming yourself. Those kind of situations one should pursue for another kind of livelihood, because that livelihood is hurting you, hurting yourself. But if you have these proper, not hurting, not harming, okay, a certain level of stress is normal for our world that we live in. Without that, there's nothing can. But if you have the proper morality, you don't have to worry anything about your job. You don't have to turn around and look around job. You don't have to cover it. And you can live with ease of mind at all time. You don't have to worry. That is the one benefit of Sila. And also, people who have Sila, okay, who are good morality, their fame goes wide and far. Even in your office, corporation, they just say, oh, this guy, he's always do the correct thing. You don't have to worry about it. Okay? The boss knows, oh, he doesn't have, but this guy, I have to watch a little more. He's a little bit devious. He's a little bit wicked. Sometimes he can be, Say, that is what the difference between the two people is Sila. When you have Silas, automatically you get trust of people. Your name goes far and wide. And even if your Sila is very good, people who doesn't even know you heard about your name and they talk about you. And when they come and see you, they relate to you with respect. Okay? People are praised. And some of the great people with great precepts, it is said in a lot of these sutras, they are human. They have a great sila, but their fame and fortune even spread to the celestial realm. In some of the sutra, it is said that. So that is the second benefits of having sila. And the third one is, anyone who have a proper sila, observe the sila, okay, you would be never looked down by anybody. One is a priest, now is a looking down. Nobody will look down at you because there is nothing to look down upon you. And also, when you have sila, you have done nothing wrong. When you have done nothing wrong, at the time of death, okay, we all face at one moment, the last death moment. At the time of death, we die without confusion. Without confusion means if you have a lot of these guilty deeds done in your life, before you die, you just go into the swirling mode of these guilty thoughts and guilty feelings, and it is a state of confusion. As you have no guilt, your mind is clear, you die without confusion. When you die without confusion, you go to the better existence. And the fifth and the final one is, when a person with good sila or precepts die, okay, it will it will be reborn in a human realm, a good situation, human realm, or in a celestial realm. That is the rebirth. That is simply the 5 benefits, by simply observing sila. And the next one. So basically, if we put into context, these kind of conversation should come into a play in a set of retreat, or even with people in a non-retreat setting. Whenever you see things, and then whenever you think a situation or a person can be improved, these kind of conversation can be engaged. And the next conversation is Samadhi. Samadhi is what? Calm and steadfast mind. The mind is calm and steadfast. A quiet mind without mental defilements. Okay? Without mental defilements. And this is very important, this Samadhi. Whether you are practicing the samatha meditation, okay? Samatha meditations mean one-pointedness on an object. At that time, if you have that calm and steadfast mind, you have reached your goal. Calm, serenity, tranquility, and then along with it, concentration, bliss. That's one, but it reaches goal. And of course, from then, if you would desire some mental powers, you can develop. But in Vipassana, it's very important. Without that Samadhi, okay? Without that Samadhi, one can never develop or attain insight. One must have a certain degree of Samadhi concentration. Not like jhanic concentration, but a concentration that keeps the mental defilement away. You have that kind of mind. Not one-pointedness, it can be in many objects, but you can keep these many objects one after the others without being intruded by mental defilements. That means you have a very good Samadhi, very strong Samadhi. You need that kind of Samadhi or mental concentration to get into insight. Without that, you will never have insight or piññā. That is the key important point for the Vipassana meditator. Sila Samadhi. That kind of conversation are also encouraged. And in here, as we are all practitioners, we talk about meditation setting. And also, you can take all these things to your daily life, and try to converse these topics more so than the frivolous talk, more so than the politics, more so than the entertainment or the food guide and so on and so forth. And you can take these things into your daily life and make the key part of conversation, because you are seeing with friends and families. Okay? But of course, be skillful. Don't be just like telling them, do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it, must do it. No, it is a very friendly conversation, trying to draw their awareness and mindfulness into these topics. So these 10 conversations are not just for yogis, for everybody. Yogis in your normal daily life, they can become the key aspect of conversation. Try to draw in within these 10 categories, suitably, appropriately, in terms of time and place, and also whether this person be receptive or not. If you are quite sure it's not going to be receptive, don't push. If they are going to be receptive, deliver it the best that you can. So that is the Samadhi. And from that Samadhi, you can go into insight. And the next conversation is Pinya, wisdom. Okay? So when we come Pinya, wisdom, okay, again to Pinya can be used in every kind of various setting. And here is wisdom to penetrate the ultra-mundane Dhamma. What is ultra-mundane Dhamma? We have talked about it already. 4 types of path, consciousness, or the path wisdom, and 4 types of fruition. Okay? Consciousness of fruition, wisdom, and Nibbana. Those are 4 plus 4 plus 1, 9. These 9 dhammas are called ultra-mundane Dhamma, Lokuttara Dhamma. Okay. And without wisdom of what? Wisdom of going through the stages of insight. Without going through the stages of insight, you cannot penetrate and you cannot understand these 9 Lokuttara Dhamma, 9 ultra-mundane Dhamma. And understanding about these paths and fruitions and Nibbana, understanding about these stages of insight, okay, that we'll call it Pinya. Okay? Stages of insight is in the Lokiya, mundane. And understanding about the 9 Dhamma is ultra-mundane. That kind of thing. And this is for people who are practicing to be liberated, of course. But still, there are a lot of wisdom. Okay? You cannot talk these things to everyday, daily people, friends and relatives and so on who are not practicing. For those people, you can still talk. Basically what? What is right and what is wrong? What's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? Okay? With precision, as the Buddha has given us, the basic guideline is not to hurt and harm. Any deeds that doesn't hurt and harm, and any deeds that cannot be blamed, and any deeds that is beneficial, that is a good thing to do. That is what to do. And any deed that hurts and harm, any deeds that doesn't produce good benefit, and any deeds that is blameworthy, that is a bad thing. Through that guideline, you can size up, analyze, put into categories, and talk with others what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. It is not right thing to do because the Buddha said, or this is the Buddhist way. It is not the wrong thing to do because what Buddha said. It's a right thing and it's a wrong thing, based on the principle, the formula we just talked about. Based on that, one talks. You can talk to anybody and everybody, whoever is receptive, whoever you think it is receptive to it. That's wisdom. It covers 8 types of conversation. 9th type is called Vimut or Vimukti. Vimut or Vimukti. In other words, it is freedom or liberation. Freedom or liberation. So if this is freedom or liberation, then this one is something you cannot talk with every people. Something or someone that you can talk, that you can relate to, and if you have it, let's say a group of people who are already in that kind of a stage, Vimukti, liberation. What is liberation is these people already have attained a certain type of path consciousness, Megaceta. Okay, there are 4 types. They have already taken the first type or second type or third or fourth type of Megaceta or Mega Jnana, the wisdom of the path. They have experienced it. And for those who have experienced it, it's a place they can go into. We just use the word place, but not really a place. It's a state. Okay? Phala Sampati. Phala Sampati. Sampati is attainment. Phala is fruition. Okay? The fruit that you get out of the attainment of the path consciousness. That's phala. The fruits or the result that get out of the attainment of the path consciousness. And once you have attained a certain path consciousness, you can go into that states of fruition, the relative state of fruition. You can go in, you can stay with peace. In other words, it is very peaceful and blissful. So whether you are in a Ariya number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, when you have things to do, you do. When you have nothing else to do, your spare time, you go into that mode and you try to stay in peace. Or another thing is, you take Nibbana as an object. You take Nibbana as an object and you enjoy the bliss or peace of Nibbana. So that is called Vimukti, state of liberation. One can stay in it, enjoy it. To be able to do that, one must have achieved part one or the other type of path consciousness. And among these people, among that group of people, you can discuss and talk about it. Okay? But not with others who doesn't have it. And then the last final conversation is called Vimukti Jnana. Okay? Number 9 is simply freedom or liberation, states of liberation. This one is the wisdom of liberation. Wisdom of liberation is once you got into that stage, okay, again, everything is the first time you achieve is the path consciousness. Path consciousness 1, 2, 3, or 4. That is the moment you get the wisdom of that path consciousness or path wisdom. And when you have that wisdom, okay, automatically, how is it transformed? What is it? What's happening to these people? What's happening to these people is anytime you reach a stage, your life changes. Okay? Stage 1, it changes to a certain way. Stage 2, certain way. Stage 3, certain way. Stage 4, certain. You simply just change. You don't have to change. You simply change. And change in an irreversible manner. It changes in a way that any type of situation and environmental condition cannot force you to reverse back to the previous state. That kind of change. Okay. That kind of change it goes into. So in here is we are not talking about what changes into and that. It's about what are these wisdom or jnana insights are about. So Vimukti jnana. There are 19 types of the wisdom related with liberation. 19 types. It's called Pincha Vakana jnana. No, not Pincha, sorry. Pacca, P-A-C-C-A. Pacca Vakana jnana. So whenever one goes into a certain stage, okay, a certain state of path, one began to change, and when you change, you began to reflect and observe and analyze yourself. That's what it is. Okay. And number one is, when you attained it, you experience the cessation of nama and rupa. You experience the cessation of nama and rupa. The moment you have that path consciousness, that is the time you have the cessation of nama and rupa. And at that moment, there's no nama, no rupa. But the object of that is nibbana, total peace, supreme peace. That is the first experience you have. That's number one. And you got a path experience and you reflect upon it. You reflect from the stage and the quality of cessation of nama and rupa. And then, number two, you began to reflect the situation of the path. Okay. Situation of the path. What the situation of the path is, you reflect these things based on how or through, how did you go through that, and how do you experience that? What is the experience of the path consciousness? That's number two. And then after you have this path consciousness, you go automatically into the next one. It's called the result of the path consciousness, or the fruition. Okay. When you go into the fruition, again, you reflect, you go through how exactly that experience of the fruition consciousness is. Or fruition pinya, palajnana. How is it about? By going through, experiencing through it, you begin to understand. So one is nibbana, second is megaceta, and third is palaceta or palajnana. 1, 2, 3. And then what you do was, after that, you're thoroughly satisfied with your analysis. And then you look through, and what are we escaping from? What are we escaping from? What are we liberating from? From mental defilements, kilesa, loba, dosa, moha. That's what we are trying to escape from or liberate it from. So number 4, you look and you analyze and you go through, you reflect it. What kind of mental defilements I have totally abandoned? You go through it. Because each state of path consciousness, they abandon a certain type of mental defilements or a certain degree of mental defilements. So if you are the first stream winner, you reflect it and you see, oh, these types of mental defilements, I have all totally abandoned it. And then the last contemplation or reflection is, what type of mental defilements there it still remains? Okay. Oh, these are gone. This one are still here. Okay. Those things, details, I will talk in a different setting. And here is, you just go the 5 stages of reflectiveness, of analysis of yourself whenever you attain something. The first one is cessations of nama and rupa. Cessation, and the second one is megajnana, you reflect. The third is palajnana. And the fourth is, what kind of mental defilements have I abandoned? And the fifth is, what kind of mental defilements there still remains? 5 things. So whenever you got a stage first path consciousness, you reflect these 5. Second stage of path consciousness, you reflect these 5, 10. The third stage of consciousness, you reflect these 5, 15. And the fourth stage and the final stage, Arhata Magga, you reflect the first 4. The first 4. Because the fifth one, what is there remain? What kind of mental defilement remains? As the Arhata Magga, no trace of mental defilements remain. So it can only reflect upon the 4. So 19. These kind of reflection of 19 natures of the Ariya are called Pacha Vakana Jnana. Okay? Vimukti Jnana. So if you are with a group of people of the same nature, you can discuss and talk about it, not to the people who has it. So those are the 10 types of conversation. The last 2 are restricted for the people who has only attained these things. Otherwise, other people think you might be a quack, or they might become really in awe and you be a stalker and a follower. So those are the 10 types of conversation Buddha allow us to speak, whether in retreat setting or in your daily life. Try and pull the conversation within these walls, because these are the conversation that truly benefits every human being. So may all of you be able to practice Satipatthana Vipassana meditation precisely and correctly, and may you be able to attain Nibbana, the supreme bliss and peace, as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham pujami. Dhammam pujami. Sangham pujami.